Hello, welcome back here into Caden's Weather Center. In this video today, we're continuing to pay attention to the cooler weather temperatures that are expected to really start to ramp up here and possibly reaching into some pretty nice feeling temperatures. So we'll go deeper into that and who could be getting these temperatures, as we've all been waiting for this moment. We're also dealing with a little bit of a severe weather threat continuing on in Arizona, as well as some torrential downpours continuing on in the state of Florida, as we've been seeing over the last couple of days, as well as some heavy rain in Oklahoma. And, Invest 99L, we'll talk about that a little bit as well in this video. So let's kind of just hop into it. We can clearly see some heavy rainfall kind of continuing on over here in the Oklahoma area, so let's kind of go coast by coast here. We kind of can see here, Idaho, Oregon, you guys are getting some kind of scattered showers, at some times here. Really, we are paying attention to this is where our severe weather threat is going to be, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on today. But you can already see some flash flooding is already being posed as a threat here, as we do have a flash flood warning, actually. A considerable threat for that flash flood warning, as the recording of this video does include pretty much I-10 Blythe, I believe that's how you call it. But then you go over here to the Central Plains. We can see Oklahoma, Kansas really starting to ramp up with some of that rainfall, kind of just hanging out, not moving very quickly. That's what's going to be leading to some more of those flash flood warnings. Northeast looking fairly quiet, a couple, scattered showers randomly over here in certain areas right there. Down here in Florida, we're seeing a lot more of, rainfall starting to kind of head into the state once again. And eventually this will make its way off here to the east, and we're going to kind of see more rainfall here. So locally, times could be heavy for some rainfall. But right now, kind of just, from Orlando down to Tampa, that's where we're seeing some rainfall as of right now. So, and, we've been seeing a lot of that rainfall continuing a lot. So, taking a look at here at the Hurricane Center, we can take a look. We have Tropical Storm Ferdinand out here in the Atlantic. That's just going to be heading out to sea, so nothing to be impacted right there. Invest 99L continuing on in the Caribbean is now not expected to form at all, but expected to make that westward motion. We had the possibility of a GFS bringing up a major hurricane in the Gulf. Euro ensembles were bringing something, but now they flew into the system, and now we definitely are saying we're not going to be seeing a system like this from this storm. Taking a look at this, 24 hours will be already in the Central Caribbean, and the 48 hours will be a little bit more closer to Central America there, and as it kind of makes that general westward motion. Now, regardless of development, we're going to kind of see some heavy amounts of rainfall here in parts of Central America, so we're going to kind of see that, and that could be leading to some localized heavy flash flooding, as well as maybe even possible mudslides, so something to pay attention to there. Taking a look at that severe weather threat, marginal risk here in Arizona, the southern part of Arizona, the other areas, there's no big area of, big problem. The biggest threat with these thunderstorms could possibly be some wind threat right now here in that severe weather, which will happen a little bit later on this evening, which let's kind of take a look at that. We can clearly see as we head into around 7 p.m. tonight, we can clearly see kind of a low pressure right here according to the HRRR model we're seeing right there. But then we kind of see it kind of just ramp up, kind of head up over here from Mexico up to the north. And that's going to bring some of those heavy showers and thunderstorms already that are continuing this morning, but possibly adding on to some thunderstorms with this later today. Now, we're also seeing some rainfall continuing on in Nevada, as well as New Mexico and even Colorado, but our main focus for the severe weather threat will be in the Arizona region here, the western parts specifically for that. And it will kind of just, as we go into early tomorrow morning, still going to be continuing to rain, but won't be as bad as it was tonight. So, taking a look here at the southeast, we can clearly see some of right now heavy rainfall still continuing on here on the west coast of Florida, and that's what we've been paying attention to. Taking a look right now, we can clearly see that we can see some heavy amount of rainfalls expected here at 2 p.m. later today. We could be expecting some of that around the Tampa Bay area. That could be bringing some heavy rainfall there, and just really kind of going to hang out for the next couple of hours. That's something we could be paying attention to. And as we head into kind of the overnight hours, it will kind of start to be more of an elongated line here, but really won't be as intense or anything like that, with bringing more of that flash flooding to the Florida Peninsula. We've had a couple flooding events here in the Florida Peninsula, nothing major, but we've had a couple flash flood warnings as well with this. But, eventually this rain will eventually make its way eastward as well. So that's something to pay attention to, as more rainfall could possibly be expected tomorrow. But by Wednesday and Thursday, Florida should be starting to clear up a lot. So let's take a look at the temperatures for today. We're seeing a lot of high temperatures continuing on. You can see that cool down that we're continuing to watch very closely here. Let me see if I can get a better color. Seeing that cool down here in the northern part of the United States and the central part, really still on the west coast, very, very hot temperatures still continuing, as well as, down here in the south. But we obviously know in the south that's just always going to happen there. Now, heading into day 2, we could be seeing maybe a little bit of a cool down here, even for more of this part right here as that front kind of digs down there. And then we're going to kind of see these temperatures start to kind of go down slightly here. But then as we head into day 3, day 4, we're going to start seeing it a little bit ramp up a little bit more. And that's kind of what we're going to be paying attention to. Now, you take a look here at the low models here. You can clearly see temperatures really starting to get low. I mean, we're getting into maybe even the upper 30s here in parts of northern Wisconsin. But, I mean, even with the low temperatures really digging down to the south here, that's kind of what we're looking at here. But we can obviously see right now, maybe in Arizona and Southern California, as well as here in the Florida Peninsula, not excited that yet due to some of those low temperatures. Now, we'll see a little bit of a cool down here to the south, but not as much as we're going to be seeing really to the north. The northeast will be really getting into those cooler temperatures later on this week, into the upper 40s, maybe even in the mid 40s. As you can see a little bit areas right here in New York in the lower 40s. So something to keep an eye on and definitely be excited for as we head into that. Now, the GFS model, let's just take a look here for the tropics once again. Let's kind of just go over that. We can clearly see maybe something to pay attention to forming off that front and possibly impacting the east coast here of the United States once again. Won't be anything major, but definitely could be possibly something to bring heavy amounts of rainfall to the Carolinas, maybe even in Virginia, Pennsylvania, and even the northeast. So that's what the GFS kind of picking up on, but nothing too much here in the MDR. The European model kind of picking up on something slight as well, but maybe a little bit more out to sea here, so it won't impact as much. But big questions are obviously going to still be on the table. Thank you for watching this video today on Caden's Weather Center. If you do like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as well as making sure you're following my X page down in the description down below for any new weather updates. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and bye-bye.